Welcome to another Luck Scout bedtime story. In the heart of a dense, peaceful forest, there was a pond known only to the animals and a few fortunate souls who happened upon it. This pond, hidden among tall trees and soft moss, was unique. It was so calm that it reflected the world around it like a perfect mirror. The forest animals called it the Pond of Reflections, and it was said to hold the power to show anyone who visited it their truest self. One evening, a young boy named Rami found himself wandering through the forest, feeling lost in his thoughts. Life had become busy and confusing, and he felt unsure of who he was or what he wanted. He had heard tales of the secret pond, and though he didn't fully believe in its magic, he felt a gentle pull to search for it, hoping to find some clarity. Rami followed a winding path through the trees, the forest around him growing quieter as he walked. As the last light of day began to fade, he found himself standing before the still, glistening surface of the Pond of Reflections. The water was so clear that he could see his own reflection perfectly, as though he were gazing into a mirror. Rami knelt beside the pond, feeling an odd sense of calm settle over him. The forest was silent, and the only sound was the soft rustling of leaves in the gentle evening breeze. He looked into the water, his own face staring back at him, and felt a strange urge to ask the pond the questions that had been troubling him. "Who am I?" he whispered to the reflection, feeling a little silly. But the stillness of the pond seemed to invite his questions, and so he continued. "Am I on the right path? Will I ever find what I'm looking for?" To his surprise, the pond didn't remain still. Small ripples began to form on the surface, gently distorting his reflection. As he watched, the ripples created an image in the water, a memory of his younger self, playing and laughing, carefree and happy. Rami realized that the pond was showing him a part of himself he had almost forgotten, his own joyful spirit unburdened by worries. A soft smile appeared on his face. He hadn't felt that lightness in so long. The pond was reminding him of the simple joy that still lived within him, even if he had lost sight of it. As Rami continued to gaze into the pond, another set of ripples formed, creating a new image. This time, he saw himself facing a difficult challenge from his past, a time when he had been unsure and scared, but had found the courage to overcome it. He remembered how strong he had felt afterward, how proud he had been of his resilience. The pond seemed to be telling him that he already held strength within himself, strength he could rely on whenever he faced new challenges. He realized that even though he felt uncertain now, he had already overcome so much. This knowledge filled him with a quiet confidence, as though the pond were gently reminding him of his own inner power. He sat quietly, absorbing the memory and the lesson it offered. He didn't need to have all the answers or know exactly where he was going. He only needed to trust that he could handle whatever came his way, just as he had done before. Rami watched as the ripples settled and the pond returned to its calm, reflective state. For a moment it was still again, his face once more appearing in its clear depths. Then, slowly, new ripples formed, creating an image of him in the future, older, content, and standing in a place that felt both familiar and new. He saw himself surrounded by friends with a look of peace on his face, as though he had found the answers he was looking for. The image filled him with hope, a reminder that the path ahead held possibilities he couldn't yet see, but that were waiting for him. Rami felt a warmth fill his heart as he gazed at this future self. The pond was showing him that life had more to offer than he could imagine, that if he kept moving forward with an open heart, he would find his way. He realized that he didn't need to rush or have everything figured out. The journey itself would guide him just as the pond was guiding him now. As the night deepened, Rami stood up, feeling a profound sense of peace. He looked at the pond of reflections one last time, grateful for the glimpses it had given him of his past, present, and future. He knew that he would carry these reflections with him, reminders of his inner joy, strength, and the endless possibilities that lay ahead. As he walked back through the forest, the weight of his worries had lifted. The quiet confidence he had felt beside the pond stayed with him, a gentle assurance that he was on the right path, even if he couldn't see the destination. He understood now that he held all he needed within himself, and that the journey would unfold as it was meant to. As you lie in your bed tonight, remember the story of Rami and the pond of reflections. Close your eyes, take a deep breath, and imagine a quiet pond, reflecting the peace and strength within you. Let go of any worries, and know that your journey will guide you, just as Rami found his way. Drift into a restful sleep, trusting that your own path is unfolding in its own beautiful time. Good night.